It's the time for a package from China. So it's the time for a new Pandora Retro Classic series called the Street Mini Classic. So what are we going to get? First of all, welcome to the Wicked Gamer and Collector. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video, already mentioned, it's time for another game system from my friends from China. But what are we going to get inside this package? That is what we're going to find out, and is this thing even decent enough to enjoy some old school games? Okay, so inside the packaging we're going to get, of course, here we're having the Mini Street Arcade. Simple and powerful. But alright, so inside the box we're also going to get the necessary HDMI, but also can use it with VGA. And of course not to forget our PlayStation 2 shitty rip-off controllers from China. And a power supply. The Mini Street Arcade is a quite interesting subject, you can say. So it's completely different than a regular Pandora's boxes, and they are just aiming more like a game system. This is not like a pie inside the case or more of these weird things that they deliver, but it is based on a Linux kind of software, so it's similar to the Pandora box franchise. There's a reason why I'm also going to call this on the top the Pandora Treasure. Basically it's just a name for, let's say, a box like this. It's more like a game system. It also includes an on and off switch at the front. But let's take a close look inside and what kind of connections do we have. So on both sides we're going to get a USB connection, but here we're having the CF card. Did try to add some games, didn't work. So we're stuck with the stuff that we're going to get. USB port is over here on the other side, and at the back we're going to get the HDMI output, VGA, audio output, volume control, and of course the setting button and the input for the 12-volt power supply. Okay, so when it comes to the PlayStation 2 fake controllers, some have a cable, this one comes with a dongle, and they also include some batteries. It's just basic quality, it is not the quality you want to have, especially you can notice it with the D-pad, and in the middle over here we're going to get an on and off switch. So, but most of these things are not a really great experience, and yeah, this is what you're going to get with these Chinese game consoles most of the time. Man, it feels rubbish. For the people who are familiar with the Pandora box stuff, you can see that the menu itself looks very similar, only we're having now the recent options and also a search option. Something you don't see very often, especially with these game consoles. And it's quite a mixed bag. As you can see, a lot of different games, but most of them are just more of the same, more like a minor tweak or a hack. And yeah, it's more like the same with this preview video that you have seen with the previous models. Nevertheless, for the people new to this, basically what you're going to get is one big gigantic list. And with some of the versions they are alphabetic order, and some they have put everything just in one big messy list. But with this version we're going to get a recent list, so we can check out which games we have played before. And of course we can search a game. So if you want to search a game in the gigantic mess of a list, you can do this very easily. And it works very well and very fast. The settings menu are similar like all the other Pandora boxes. We have an EO tester, we can do the gamepad mapping. Game list, we can, if you want to remove games or just want to basically not show them in the list. The Neo Geo console, I did mess around with it, but I couldn't find any extra options. We can have a background sound if you want to, change out the wallpaper, language, clear the list, discard, and of course save and exit. Another thing is what's pretty cool with this system and not common with these game systems that we're having in the resume, exit, save and load menu. In other words, we can do a quick load, quick save, but take consideration you're only having one slot for each game. But what kind of games can you play with? Because we can't add games, what you see, what you're going to get. There are around 1500 on them, and there are just a mixed bag and not a really 1500 because it's always more like hacked and different and clone versions. So when you're looking at the games, most of them will be arcade games. You need to think about MAME, Neo Geo. Those games will run on the system. But some of these systems you can find in 8-bit or 60-bit games, but it is always more like really old stuff. But let's get into the gameplay. Another thing that I need to point out is when you're looking at the game very closely, you can see it's not that pixelated like the old school games. And the reason why, because they are using this optimization filter. And the biggest bummer is that you can't shut it off if you really hate this. But sadly, this console suffers from screen tearing like a lot of these Pandora's boxes. But nevertheless, what is a very good thing that the audio itself is not that bad like Pandora Box 5. But when you take a close look at the game list, you can see that it is similar like in Pandora's Box 5 or 6 that has been released quite a long time ago. And the reason why is very simple. When I take a close look at the specifications, here we're going to see what they have used. It's an Allwinner A3, that's basically just a quad-core Cortex A7, the stuff that we got with the first batch of Pandora's boxes. Clock speed of 1.3 GHz, the Mali 400 MP2 as a GPU and 1 GB of DDR3. So that's not a lot. So that is what you're going to get with this Street Classic Mini Retro Pandora Treasure. It doesn't even matter how you want to call this thing anymore, because it's not a very powerful device, it's very old technology, and yeah, it's a very nice concept that you're basically getting this tiny box, comes with an active cooling. That is also a common problem nowadays, they're just using this very old passive cooling stuff. Nevertheless, the Street Mini, I think it's a pretty cool idea behind it, but sadly we're not going to get a lot of interesting features. I want to thank you for watching, consider subscribing, hit the bell, become one of the Wicked family. Would be great to hear from you here, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and I will see you in the next video.